Hi everybody, welcome back to A Person's Haven. Thank you for watching. My name is Lindsay. Today we are watching a video that I recorded a little while back from our trip to Wisconsin. The last Wisconsin video trip was just released, and this is part 2, if you want to call it that. So when we arrived at my parents' house, my dad had that black trash bag sitting there waiting for us, and it was full of elderberries. If you do not know what elderberries are a wild berry that grow on tree-like bushes. They grow in clusters. I'll show you here what a cluster of them looks like. And when you go to pick them, instead of plucking each berry off of the tree because they're so small, you just take scissors or a gardening shear and you snip right above the berry cluster, and you take the whole cluster, stem, branch, and everything. So my dad had these picked because elderberry jelly is my all-time favorite jelly. And he knew that we don't really have elderberries very readily up in northern Minnesota. They're not easy to find up here. And they were very, very abundant in the Wisconsin ditches. So he had this ready. So right here, I have just cleaned one pot of elderberries. So you go through, you look at each stem, you pull off any of the green fruit, you pick off any of the rotten or mushy, or if there's any spider sacks or anything, you pick all of that off, and you just put the healthy fruit and the healthy stems into a kettle. How I did it this time, which I do regret, is I actually filled the pan fairly full of water. And I did that with both of these pans. And these weren't the only 2 pans that I did this with. I did this with all of the pans at my parents' house. And I do regret that. This is how I remember doing it as a teenager, which is probably the last time I did elderberries. I think 2024. Because then I went to college and I got busy. But when I came home, what you'll see at the end, I actually used some of this juice that I already made in Wisconsin and put it on more elderberries to make it a stronger flavor. So you put all of this onto the stove. You boil it down and it makes this purple liquid. And how you know that the berries are ready to come out is they are mushy. The berries themselves are pretty much non-existent anymore. And the stems kind of look soggy, and they went from that deep purple color to a purpley red color. So when that happens, you know that you've boiled the berries and gotten the juice out. So here, what you're gonna see is I take the berries out with tongs. I put them in a flour sack towel, which is sitting inside of a noodle strainer. But towards the end of the video, when you see me processing some at my house, I actually put it through my tomato smasher, which is what I prefer to do, because then I can smash out all the juice without burning myself. But for some reason, I didn't even think to get my dad's tomato smasher out when we were at my parents' house. So this here is my very first batch of elderberry juice that I strained out. And I think I did 5 or 6 pots of elderberry juice at my parents' house. And I brought all that juice home to make things when we're home. So I'm just going to let you watch for a little bit as I get these berries out get the juice separated, and kind of start that process that you need when you're processing elderberries. Okay, so if you notice here in a couple minutes, I just looked at my hand. That's because I kept burning my hand on the berries and my hands were stained purple. So what I decided was to try my parents' potato smasher and smash the berries instead of trying to smash them with my hands, which essentially made me touch scalding hot berry juice. And this worked fairly well. So if you don't have a tomato smasher to use, you can simply use your potato smasher and smash the berries, and you can get all of the liquid out. And some people may not smash them as extensively as I do, but I love elderberry products, so I try to get the full amount of juice out of every ounce of berry that I process. Okay, everybody, this is the day after I processed all those berries. I stayed up until about midnight that night and processed all of those berries. And this is the day after, and we have a giant bowl of elderberry juice, and I am trying to figure out how do I transport this back to Minnesota. So to me, the easiest way is Carl and I went and we purchased, I believe they're half-gallon jars, and we got a 6-pack of those, and I am filling the jars with the juice. That way they can ride home safely with us. And when we got home, we actually ended up freezing the jars with the juice in them. We did have one casualty. One jar must have been filled a little bit too full, so we had one jar that did crack in the freezer, but I was able to save the juice because it was frozen juice by the time it cracked, so I did save the juice and use that. But here I am just filling the jars, and you will soon see Carl come and help me finish filling the jars as well. So here you're going to see Carl and I having a conversation. He was asking me if I had tasted the juice yet to see if it tasted good, and I had not. So I put a little in a jelly jar for us to taste it. And this is when I realized that the juice was very watered down. And this is when I regretted my choice at the beginning of the video, where I filled the pans all the way full with water. And this is why at the end of the video, when I process the elderberries at home in my crock pot, I actually take some of this juice and pour it in with the elderberries to make it a stronger tasting juice. And my intent is to take all of the jars that I have in my freezer right now, and I'm going to thaw them all, and I'm going to put them all together, so hopefully they can have a more uniform taste. So I know you guys saw me cleaning my first batch of berries at my parents' house. But what you're doing here is you're really just glancing at them to make sure there's no spider like egg sacs or anything like that. No beetles. In my parents' house, a giant beetle crawled down. And then you're kind of just rinsing them off to get any debris or bugs that might be in them. And I'm gonna try to cram as many as possible in this crock pot, stems and all. I was hoping that I was gonna get it all in here, but I don't know that I am, so I might have to go get a second crock pot and do the same thing. And if you drop berries, go back and pick them up because they will stain everything purple. Alright, so right here is a good example. This is an old egg sac from a spider, so I'm going to pluck all those berries off and just toss them rather than try to weed it out. And I do have a garbage disposal, so I am just going to let it fall down the drain. And I was hoping to get some video of how to pick these berries. But our weekend was so busy with the cabbage and the corn and these that my dad just went and picked them for us. But elderberry bushes, and I'll pull up a picture for you because we did take pictures of the bushes as we left town. But the bushes, they just hold the clusters of berries. And you take your scissors and your pail, and you know, if the berry's hanging like this or like this, you just go out and you snip it. And you take the whole cluster, stem and all, and then you use the stem and all to make your juice that you will eventually turn into jelly. Now if you're making jam, which is using the berry in the spread, you probably are not going to want to cook the stem. You're going to want to remove all of the berries. That's one reason why I have always made the juice and used it for things like jelly. My husband and I, trying to be a little healthier, have been eating less carbs, and in general we don't eat a lot of jelly anyways. But elderberry jelly is one of my favorite jellies. So I'm still going to make some this year. I'm going to give it away as gifts to friends and family. But I'm also going to take his advice. Don't tell him because then he'll think he's right. And try a few new things, such as cough medicine or gummies, which is something he suggested. So I think I'm going to stop here. I still got quite a bit left, and maybe I'll put those on top once these cook down, but for now I'm going to stop here, add a little juice, and get this running because it is full. So I think I'm just going to start with this pint and see what happens. Now I'm going to put it on high and we'll let it start cooking down. Alright guys, so I came to check on these berries. They have shrunk down a little bit. The berries themselves are getting soft. So I'm gonna go add some more to the top of this and keep on cooking.
It takes so much juice just to sit in. Gotta make more powder.
All right, so I was able to get the last of the berries in here, so we are going to put the lid back on and keep on cooking. All right, everybody. So after processing all of the berries at my parents' house and then processing all the berries at my house, I did end up with, I believe, 6 half-gallon jars of elderberry juice. My intent is to make elderberry jelly, elderberry immune gummies, and then possibly some cough syrup. Thank you everybody for watching my video today. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Please push subscribe and share it with your friends. While you wait for my next upload, I'll link some videos on the side for you that you can go and watch if you're interested. Hopefully you are having a good day, and we will see you next time. Have a good day, everybody.